Every year, Pinterest puts out this trends prediction list, where they create a list of up-and-coming trends to watch out for in the upcoming year. They use search data and analytics to try and spot emerging trends before they take off. And I want to try and use 2026 trend predictions to build a house in The Sims 4. I did this last year in The Sims 4 using Pinterest Predicts, and it's really fun to go through and see what they list because some of them are so cool and they make sense. Some of them not so much. So this year is especially interesting because they're apparently aware of the fact that people are experiencing trend fatigue, social media burnout. People are really tired of keeping up with trends because they switch up so quickly nowadays. So apparently a lot of these trends focus on comfort, authenticity, and optimism. Well, I need to first build a home exterior, so let's see if we can find something for that. Ooh, neo-deco. The art deco trend with a modern twist. Okay, this I can get behind. I really like the colors we're seeing here. If you guys know me, you know I absolutely love a retro moment, and I love the idea of taking something old and making it new. I feel like you can really see some of the modern elements with like the natural textures in here and with more of like the earthy tones. I think a neo-deco home exterior will be a little tricky to pull off, but let's try it. But before we get started today, this video is sponsored by Gameloft, and one thing about me, I love when games have seasonal updates. I love celebrating and getting into the holiday spirit, so I was so excited to hear about Disney Dreamlight Valley's newest update, the Winter Ball. In this new update, we find out just where the magical princess from Disney's Cinderella has been this entire time. Solve the mystery, and you can bring Cinderella to the valley along with a brand new hobby to explore. You can befriend critters and even host a valley-wide friendship ball, which sounds so fun. The Winter Warmth Star Path brings festive furnishings to help you spread the holiday cheer, and it even brings a holiday baby Pegasus companion. So cute. On top of that, there's the Gift of Giving event running from December 17th to 31st, where you can complete previous year's achievements and earn new rewards. You can log in on December 25th for a surprise, but don't worry if you miss it, you can still claim it until December 31st. The wintry magic continues into January with the Winter Floating Festival, where there are weekly prizes and exclusive rewards. There are plenty of in-game improvements with this update as well, like you can now toggle which NPCs appear in your shots in the photo mode, a search filter and sorting tool is added to Scrooge's delivery system, and you can sell purchasable items back to Scrooge. There are even more improvements in this update, so lots to look forward to in this winter season. So check out Disney Dreamlight Valley and all their latest updates by clicking on the link in the description below, and you can also redeem code SydMacGift2025 to receive a bunch of holiday themed goodies. Thanks again to Gameloft for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it. So I'm going to be building here in Copperdale today. I'm going to start out by building my shell, and one thing we see with Art Deco a lot, which I don't want to lose with this, is archways. Arched windows, arched doorways, arched furniture. I know I want to keep that shape, so I'm going to go look for an arched window right off the bat. Something we could try is this window from Businesses and Hobbies. Another feature we see in this design a lot is rounded walls, so unfortunately I think we're going to have to include that as a feature. I want to bring another arched window down here, but to make this look more interesting, I'm going to add some bump outs here, and I'm just going to drag this right over top. The only type of roofing I'm going to be doing today is with half walls, and we'll use different heights so we don't get caught with this same look. For the rounded wall piece, I might actually use a fence. I'm going to try this one from high school years. I'm thinking we go for a dark brown trim. I'm also building our shell out slightly this way. I've added a bump out in that corner. We can make a small balcony, and I'm thinking about changing the color of this fencing. I really love this shell so far. Let's go ahead and get a door. I'm thinking a glass door for up top. I feel like this could be an interesting combo. Like we have just a regular rectangle door at the bottom with the glass one up top. And then I would love for this to be all glass. I can't stop using that glass wallpaper. And then for the rest of this, I want to use like a nice solid white. This one is from Love Struck, but I think this could look good as well with a nice brick. The only thing I keep going back and forth on is this fence. So I may end up changing it a couple times. I'm really tempted to turn this into a garden. So we'll have a garden space up here, mostly because I added that window and I didn't add a door onto the balcony, and I don't want to change the arched window, so we're just gonna have this be a little garden feature. I've added some windows over to the sides, and I've also gone in and added this spandrel. That one is from Love Struck. It adds like a little detail, but I think I could also go in with cats and dogs and make it look a little cleaner. We're gonna raise this up on a foundation. For the foundation, foundation, I'm just gonna go for like a white brick, and then we can build out a front deck right here. You know what? Let's make it a rounded deck. So I'm gonna add a rounded piece like this. I love how that looks. The only issue is we cannot add stairs. Like we could add it right here, but we could only get the one piece, and I feel like that just looks a little weird. So maybe if we do a smaller rounded piece, okay, then we could get our stairs right here. We cannot do any kind of deco without a statement light, and the one I had in mind is this one from the Sleek bathroom kit. I'm gonna add this onto the balcony and we're gonna size it up just so we can see it. I wanted to hang right above that door like that. I think they also have matching lights we could use as like our porch light, and I really want to decorate here on our porch. So with Art Deco, again, you see a lot of rounded furniture pieces like this, and this neo-deco style has a lot of brass, which I love, and there are a lot of deep earthy tones. This is almost giving like a 70s color palette. So for a small seating area out here, I'm gonna use this table from Growing Together. These chairs are from Love Struck, and I'm gonna add this funky plant decor from the Cozy Kitsch kit. You know what? I think we also have to do a backspace. So I'm just building out a deck back here. I wanted to use this rug, but I feel like it might be a bit much for the front door. Let's move this back here and we can do a super sleek neo-deco spot for hosting. And in the back, we can lean into this deep green color. This is from Love Struck. I feel like they have a lot of the Art Deco style. I want to bring in more colors, so I think I'll bring in maybe some yellow or orange. Even the dark brown could be good. We could even rearrange it and bring in a couch like this, maybe change the color. These Cozy Kitsch candles are really fun, which actually I think last year, which I am going to rewatch that and see if many of them were correct, but one of them I do remember seeing was funky candlesticks, and we definitely did see that this year. All right, so for right now, this is our outdoor living space. I also want to add a barbecue. I might add that like right here, or we could even go over to the corner and then we could do a little table right there. I'm using this table from Love Struck. I think I'll use it with the green trim around it, and then I want something else to bring in the orange, so I think I'll use these chairs from Growing Together. I'm adding this lamp on top, and we're just gonna pull this space together with a couple more plants. I'm just adding these base game bar shelves in the corner. I feel like we need something here, and there we have a neo-deco inspired space. I like how we incorporated some of the deco shapes like these chairs and that table, but then using natural materials to bring in the modern element. Like we have this stone table, the woven chairs, and we have like the wooden paneled barbecue. The only thing I want to add is I feel like this house would have a pool, and I kind of want it to be a fun shape, so maybe I could do a rounded pool. I feel like that's just gonna match everything else that's going on. I'll move this forward a little bit so we don't have to make it so skinny. That way we can bring this out a tiny bit. I'm adding this fence from Base Game. I'm adding in some landscaping. All right, so we have a neo-deco inspired house. I did add a couple more things here, like these Love Struck lights. Obviously, I did all of the landscaping, and I did add some columns on here as well. I feel like it just cleaned up the edges a little bit. Of course, we have that rounded wall feature, and then coming into the back, I did also add a small pool area. So we've got like the umbrella over there with some chairs. I also added some loungers with some plants in the back, and that is how our backyard turned out. Okay, for the interior, we have the entry here. We can probably do seating or a living room. In here, we're gonna do kitchen. Dining's gonna be over to the left, and then I think I want to have some sort of skill area down here. And then going upstairs, we're gonna have 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. Okay, for the living room, I love this. This is a blend between African and Bohemian decor, and I think this is just so pretty. I love the prints, the textiles. Again, a lot of natural textures with this, which I love. Like we see lots of wood, lots of woven textures. Again, I really love a lot of the color palettes that we're seeing here too, and I feel like it'll match the exterior quite well. So I think I'm gonna bring in this wood flooring. This is from Eco Lifestyle. And for the wallpaper, I'm thinking something warm. Like we have this Base Game wallpaper. I like that it's not flat. It does have a little bit of texture on it. And we did get some Base Game pillows recently, which I think could really work with this. I love these pillows. I keep using them. I like how they have different colors on like the front and the back. But if we're using such bold pillows, maybe we go with a more muted couch. And we'll add in some plain ones here too. We also had a Base Game update in the Sims store recently, which brought in African inspired decor. Like this plant, I really like the basket like pot that it's in. We could add a table in the back and raise this up, or I also have sized this plant up in the past, and I feel like it also looks pretty like that. We could do one of those behind the couch table. Eco Lifestyle is a good one for this too, because they have some nice modern like natural textured pieces. This art piece also came with that update that I'm referencing, and there are some really pretty swatches in here. I've already been using this one. I think I want to size this up, and like we can take up the whole wall. I was gonna add a TV here, but maybe we just turn it into a seating reading room. I would love a lamp in this corner. We also really need a rug. And I'm gonna add in these chairs. I want them to be facing this way. I don't want to like block off the door because when you walk in, you're just gonna see this and that's gonna look really pretty. I'm gonna add in this plant. Maybe we start bringing this over to the corner. A big mirror here near the front could be nice. Maybe over on this side. We could also add a tapestry. In the corner, I'm gonna add in this base game lamp. Oh, wait, I forgot about these pillows too. Okay, I'm gonna raise these ones onto this chair. Everyone gets a pillow. I love how many pillow options we've been getting in The Sims lately. And then in behind here, I'm adding some woven baskets. I want to add a small table in here. I don't want it to be like too squishy though, but I do think that looks pretty, bringing in a different wood tone. I love all the warm colors in here. On the other side, I just added a clothing rack, a couple other plants, and let's go from here into the kitchen. Okay, this is where things start getting a little weird. Cabbage is going to be trending. Last year, I think it was pickles or olives or something. Honestly, I am in my olive era, but stop right now. Stop. No one is doing that. A cabbage inspired wedding? I can get behind the cabbage recipes. I do like cabbage. You know what? I could even get behind the cabbage bowls. I don't hate this. Okay, actually, yeah, all of this looks delicious. We're gonna have to build a cabbage kitchen. I need a cabbagey green wallpaper. I need some green counters. I'm using these ones from base game, and we have a lot of space to use up here, so I'm gonna make a big island. These front pieces are gonna be just regular counters, so you could still prep there if you wanted. And like the Enchanted by Nature bar stools could be a little cabbagey. I guess I'll add some of those. Could we use this set here from the Country Kitchen kit? Like maybe, and do we even have cabbage in The Sims 4? I feel like Cottage Living might have it, but it might also be lettuce. Yeah, they have lettuce, but you know what? This is gonna have to pass as cabbage. We have a few different kinds of lettuce, small, medium, and oversized lettuce, but we need a plan here. I need to figure something out. This color scheme looks a little better. I'm adding a rug down the center. I would love to bring some kind of unique shelving into this, like something weird like that. And then our cabbage is just gonna have to go up on these shelves. Maybe we can find like a basket for said cabbage. Oh, there we go, from Jungle Adventure Debug. I'll add a trash can in this corner. We can add a hanging plant over here, and then I'm thinking also we can add cabbage looking things. My first thought was this light from City Living. We can add a few of these. I'm gonna raise these up onto my shelf. I also still need some sinks. I'm gonna add some here. I've really grown to love this businesses and hobbies table. I feel like it fits in any spot that I need it to. We could add some of these plants. I do feel like cabbage is a little succulent-y. So like I do think succulents are fair game here, like this one from Enchanted by Nature. I've also added some other Enchanted by Nature plants. Hey, we've got some lettuce wall art. I love when stupid things like this work out. I feel like now I just see cabbage in everything. Like this mirror, this centerpiece. Somehow this was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Okay, so this is our cabbage inspired kitchen. Honestly, I'm into it. I like it. Somehow it works. Hopefully we can still make it work with whatever we put in the dining room. Okay, to match our cabbage core kitchen, we're gonna match it with a Wilderkind dining room. I feel like this is just like an extra whimsical cottage core. Obviously, this is influenced by nature, specifically like bunnies and goats. Wait, look at this. This is so cute. Okay, hold on. This little baby goat just sitting next to the booth. This works out well too because we have that glass and we're facing all the trees out here. I want to first find a table. I think I'm gonna try this one. It's from base game. I feel like I could go in with these chairs. I am a little worried about spacing though, so I think I'll bring this out a tiny bit just to make sure we can really get it all there, and then we'll just have to bring this over. We have the perfect rug for this aesthetic. We're using this one from Cottage Living. It literally has bunnies and foxes on it. I feel like we could use that same basket that we used in the other room as our centerpiece, and we could add some produce in there, maybe some little mushrooms. I also added some berries in there and just like things you could find foraging. And then for the table, there's also some greenery we can add. This is from Seasons. I'm just gonna kind of like wrap it around some of the things that are on the table already. Then we can add some candles on here. I'm gonna add the branch light from Enchanted by Nature, and I'm adding in this base game picture. This is the same one we used in the living room, just in a different swatch. And now we have the prettiest dining room. I feel like we somehow also blended all of the styles we've used so far. And with the glass walls right here, I love. All right, we have one more room downstairs. That's gonna be this room here. Okay, to tie up the bottom floor, I'm thinking about this. They call it Mystic Outlands. Fairy tale meets fever dream. From distant ruins to enchanting forests. I mean, you know what? I was going to hate on this, but I can't. If more people want want to touch grass in 2026, that is a good sign. Okay, so we need a travel room with like a little bit of whimsical. I am going to make this into a bedroom instead. It's going to be upstairs in this glass room. This might also make sense for our house. Maybe the sim that lives here is a traveler. That's why they love so many different styles. That, or they're just like the biggest trend follower ever. You know what I should have done? I should have renovated the house from last year with these trends. So maybe we'll do that next year. Whatever the 2027 trends are gonna be, we can use those to renovate this house. I think I want to do a traveling gallery wall. These can be pictures of a bunch of different locations. Maybe we can have a couple things that we've collected over time. I am truly making the most of this wall here. Some might say too much, but not this sim. I'm adding a couple extra things in these shelves. Same as on this dresser. I just want like little collectibles. And then because this is so busy, I don't want to add too much more. I just want to add these trunks over in the corner and maybe like a couple chairs. Look how pretty that looks from the outside. This is really cool. Again, bringing together more of the aesthetics from the other rooms. Like this picture has a sheep on it. It's perfect and such a pretty bedroom. We have a little bit of the nature inspiration with the Enchanted by Nature stuff, some travel themes with the pictures and the trunks. Okay, let's go back. We can either do a bedroom next or we could do this random room here. What about Poetcore? Okay, this is basically just like an academia inspired aesthetic. There are hints of romance in here. Maybe this sim is a writer, a traveling poet. Okay, great. I know what we're doing for that spare room. We are going to do a writer's room. We need a nice fancy desk. I'm going for this one from the Crystal Creations kit. We need a nice office chair. Sim's always write on the computer, so I'm using this typewriter. It has more of that vintagey sort of look. I feel like we need a good lamp like this one. I'm adding the notepad here. We could also add some other little journals. I think we need a soft rug for this room, like maybe this one from Love Struck. And we're also gonna need a bookshelf wall behind the desk. I'll add a plant here in this corner. I've been bringing these base game sconces along with me. We could have a fancy chandelier in this room. Oh, and we can fit bookshelves in there too. For the romantic vibe, we can bring in these curtains. And I'm gonna add some comfy chairs here. They'll be blocking that back bookshelf, but it's fine. They have like 4 other ones they can use. All right, so this is our poet's room. I can definitely picture a sim just like writing away on that typewriter or just hanging out in here reading a book. And that is our bottom floor all complete. There are a lot of nature travel inspired trends here. Like there's this khaki one. It says think khaki Bermuda shorts, adventure ready streetwear. If your look can survive actual desert conditions, you're doing it right. I do like this. This is pretty. I'm a fan of khaki in design. Like I actually just bought khaki pillowcases, but in terms of fashion, I feel like it just doesn't look good on me. But maybe we could do an archaeologist bedroom. That could be this room here because they have the balcony. And then we could add the archaeology workbench. Like that can just go right outside like this. So we have a writer and an archaeologist. This is just turning out to be like the coolest household of Sims. Inside, I'm gonna pick a very similar wallpaper to the one that I've been using. So I'm using this one from Journey to Batu. I might also go lighter with the flooring. The bed, this one from Businesses and Hobbies, works perfectly. And then I could use this rug from Discovery University. I'll add my end tables. And then Businesses and Hobbies has these lamps that kind of have this like natural stone texture going on. I'm gonna add these on my end table. And then I want to use some Jungle Adventure in here. We can use this mirror. We can use some of these stone pictures to decorate. And I also think the Desert Luxe curtains could soften it up in here. We could also decorate with some of the baskets that we use downstairs. I also still need a dresser, so I'm going to use this one here. I've added some more wall decor from Jungle Adventure. I'm adding a bookshelf on top of the dresser. And I've got this awkward long corner spot. I might just add a plant here and like a clothing rack in the back. And I'm also just going to add this purse on this table near the mirror. Okay, so this is our khaki bedroom. It's got a little bit of that desert vibe going on that I feel like we saw more in like the early 2020s. There's a few of these included in here that are more like revamped versions of earlier 2020 trends, like the Art Deco, the cottage core. Very interesting so far. Let me know what you guys think about all these, by the way. But we have one more room we're gonna do, and that will be this bedroom. What else do we have? We have this like gummy aesthetic. Something completely different is this fun house sort of style, which is bringing circus inspired decor. This one I don't really understand. I'm not into it. Maybe for like a kid's room. Actually, yeah, for a kid's room, this would be really cute. I don't really know about anything else though. Other ones, we have glitchy glam, focusing on more like eccentric makeup, extra celestial and alien core. They're thinking lace is going time to make a comeback. And another fave, they have this vamp romantic style, which I love. I guess we can try this lace one. I feel like lace is really hard to decorate with personally, but I could see this being the poet's room. The only thing is I feel like lace is a very hard texture to make in The Sims 4. Like we have these curtains which are apparently lace. I think I'm gonna combine them with these sheer curtains like this. We'll do a white fluffy rug in here. This table from Cottage Living might have like a lace look. We could also try and add these from high school years. And on this side, I'll add a vanity. I'm gonna surround it with some bookshelves so we know this is the poet's room. Okay, so this is what I did for the lace bedroom. Kind of hard again when we don't have the right textures to work with, but I tried my best. They've got the vanity over to that side, bookshelves. I pulled together this hallway, which I really like. I again added more pictures. We have the bookshelf there and I added a TV. I didn't like how the back of it was exposed, so I used that divider behind it from Businesses and Hobbies. Again, just really pretty with the bold patterns and the textures. And then I also just pulled it together back here with a bathroom. But that has been us using Pinterest predicts for the 2026 trends and using them to build a house in The Sims 4. Let me know which trends are your favorite, if you like any of them at all. Let me know if you think they're accurate. And if you guys like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.